presented many problems for President Abraham Lincoln in 1862. Without much political support, Mr. Lincoln pushed for compensated emancipation of those slaves living in border states near the war front. In the spring of 1862, the president also advocated voluntary foreign colonization of freed black slaves. But by July, the Union's war efforts in Virginia were going badly, and pressure was growing to remove the Union commander, General George B. McClellan, and take other steps to speed the war effort. Mr. Lincoln came to the conclusion that emancipation of slaves in areas of the Confederate rebellion was militarily necessary in order to put an end to secession, and was constitutionally justified by his powers as commander-in-chief. Argumentative and impatient, sometimes even rude. However, the president also worried about how residents of key border states would react to a proclamation of emancipation. Mr. Lincoln believed that Union support in Maryland, Kentucky, and Missouri was key to the success of Union military maneuvers.
Can't be put off much longer. We can't get through this terrible war with slavery existing. You've got sense enough to know that. Why can't you make the border states members see it? Why don't you turn in and take pay for your slaves from the government? Then all your people can give their hearty support to the Union. We can go ahead with emancipation of slaves in the other states by proclamation and end the trouble.
Slaves grew during the spring of 1862. On April 16, Mr. Lincoln had signed a law to abolish slavery in the district, similar to legislation he himself had proposed in Congress 13 years earlier. One June day, a group of Union supporters called on the president and pressed him on the question of emancipation. One pushy participant argued that the toleration of slavery had provoked God's wrath, and only emancipation could restore his favor. Mr. Lincoln replied,
"My faith is greater than yours. I not only believe that Providence is not unmindful of the struggle in which this nation is engaged, that if we do not do right, God will let us go our own way to our ruin, and that if we do right, He will lead us safely out of this wilderness, crown our arms with victory, and restore our dissevered Union as you have expressed your belief. But I also believe that He will compel us to do right in order that He may do these things, not so much because we desire them, as that they accord with His plans of dealing with this nation, in the midst of which He means to establish justice."